would like to organize a special event for that, but due to the context, it was difficult and we canceled it. But we hope the harvest for this vintage will be great to remember that this year is 100 years production family in our vineyard.
Oh, very cool. Congratulations. Thomas, where are you? That looks
Hello,
like a
guys.
nice background.
Yes, I'm right in the middle of our family estate here in Bordeaux. We are located between Bordeaux City and Saint-Emilion village, which is around 20 kilometers from us. And I'm just sitting in the courtyard of our family estate, which is a very old castle of 450 years old, one of the oldest of the area, and very proud to be the 8th generation of winemakers here with my brother.
Awesome. Very cool. And how about you, David?
Hi guys. David from Domaine Ciry Cataneo. Just started my domain 5 years ago, so there's no generations before. I'm located in Minervois, which is basically southwest, a bit more south than Anne. Let's say half an hour from the Mediterranean Sea, half an hour from Spain. I started my vineyard, my own winery 5 years ago, and I'm happy to see you guys. That's it.
Great to have you here. And we've got Ray as well. Hey Ray, how's it going?
It's all good. Thank you very much. I'm in the very fortunate position that I've been asked to open and taste all the wines in this rescue case, and so I'm a little bit spoiled and I'm a little bit happy, sober but happy. Thank you. How you going, Eamon?
Yeah.
Right?
Very good. I think my neighbors are looking forward to the aftermath of this tasting. Yeah. Welcome all the angels who've joined in tonight. Really happy to have you here for our Thursday edition of Virtually Naked. I'm Eamon, the wine guy, joined by Ray, the wine nut, and 3 of our brand new winemakers who are with us for a live tasting with a difference. So Anne, Thomas, and David, we met them through our COVID fund, and to date we've invested around $5 million in independent winemakers affected by the pandemic across the globe. And tonight is a last of our deals we're launching to our customers, where we're getting behind the COVID hit producers, so we're gonna launch a marketplace deal at some stage during this tasting, and tonight we're going to meet 3 of the producers in that case, and we're going to taste some wines along with them, and hopefully if you like what you're seeing and you're hearing, you might pop over to the marketplace page and give them your support. So yeah, really excited to get going. And why don't we start with Anne down in Fronton. So you mentioned you're based down there near Toulouse. What makes? First off, what wines have you got in the case?
Yeah.
So you've got a rosé.
Yeah, I have two wines to suggest. This is the first one is rosé. This is our first organic wine. It is a VDF blended with Merlot and Syrah mainly. So you can see the color is pink enough, but the smell is very fruity, and it's very good rosé to drink in aperitif, for example. It's really the good timing. And then I have a red wine, which is a Chateau Coutinel. Chateau Coutinel is a family vineyard, so the 1st century vineyard, okay? And at the heart of Fronton, which is 52 hectares vineyard, mainly planted with Negrette, which is a typical grape from Fronton, and then there is also Cabernet, Syrah in the blend. And so this one is a 2017 vintage, aged in barrel. Yeah.
Very good. And what makes Fronton a special region to make wines?
The main interesting thing in the Fronton wine is the Negrette. because it is an autochthone grape, mainly used in Fronton. So this is really something different, something original, and if people want to taste something different, something original, something not very known, it's a good wine, maybe for the first time or for discovery.
Okay, very good.
I would say, Eamon, on that note, the similarity, which is sometimes useful for people to understand something that, as you say, a discovery, to help them take that step to explore something new. What are the parallels? And I hope this doesn't offend the people of Fronton, but I saw some similarities to higher quality wines of Bordeaux. I mean, you are separate and removed from it, but in terms of the structure, in terms of the fruit is slightly darker, black fruit instead of red fruit, but it does have a real sort of the maturity, because this is 2017, and it has an elegance. So I hope it works in the right way, and that there isn't a Fronton Bordeaux sort of animosity
it's not so far. Indeed, it's to 250 kilometers, but the soil is different, the climate is different. Of course, the Negrette is really for Fronton area, but we also have Cabernet, Merlot, and in the blend of this wine, you have in your portfolio now is 50% Negrette, but half Syrah and half Cabernet. And it is aged in oak also. So you have some of common aspect. But it's the typicity of Fronton with the Negrette in the blend is very juicy wine, very fruity with a little bit of licorice and spices, but thanks to the oak also, it's more traditional aspect. That's and it's good balance.
Yeah, and it's perhaps the traditional, as you say, or what we sometimes call it naked, the classic red, where exactly. it's a bit sort of restrained, but also elegant and balanced. It's really nice, really, for anyone to explore a wine region like Fronton and a grape like Negrette. This is a high quality version of it, I'd say.
Very cool. Okay, and back to March then, at the start of the year when all the COVID stuff hit. What did that mean to your business, and how did it impact you?
It was very difficult because all the exhibition were cancelled. So no prospection, no new contact. Everybody was afraid of the economic aspect, and mainly from Asia, from in our turnover, 35% was the export market, and mainly China. And China business dropped a lot. So the French market is good enough, but the most difficult is the China business, and so our turnover dropped a lot. And so it's very difficult to keep our relation with customer, and it's really difficult to have new customer.
Okay, so your exports just kind of dropped off a cliff, and then how did you hear about the Naked COVID Fund?
But thank you for your help, because not only it was a psychological support, because your action show that we have really a good interaction between producer, between a distributor, importator. So we are all together in the same boat, and so your consideration was very important for us. And so it was in mind very good to think this good vibration. And then, of course, it permits us to sell more volume of the wine. We have still in vat, still in our warehouse. And for example, this rosé, we have produced last harvest. We have produced our average quantity of red, rosé, and white. And with the COVID, the rosé season was very short. And thanks to you, I am able to get out our production of rosé. So thank you for your help, not only for psychological aspect, but also for your help in the warehouse and for the turnover also.
Oh, very good. We're really happy to help, Anne, and yeah, I think the wines are delicious, and we're really looking forward to hearing what people think.
Thanks to you, people in the UK will know Fronton, will know Negrette, and I hope in a few months people will ask you for Negrette, and we will be here. I promise you, we will be here to reply.
The next big thing, Negrette. You
heard it here. Yeah. Remember Negrette.
Very good. And David, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
He's smoking.
No. Stop, Anne, please. No. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah, and so tell us about you and your business and your wine.
That's my wine. That's the wine you guys have. I started a very small winery. I'm originally winemaker consultant. I wasn't born in the wine industry. I had to study. I've been passionate about wine for like ages, maybe since we're born. I don't know, but I studied for that, and always wanted to start consulting and at a certain point create my own winery. So I did that in 2015, and here we're pretty close to Carcassonne, so it's kind of quite touristic area, very touristic area. So my rooms and hotels around, plus a small market in the US. So my plan when I started was to start buying some old blocks of vineyards and try to rebuild them into something all right. So I got some old Cinsault, 50 years old Cinsault, 65 years old Grenache Gris that I'm like kind of rebuilding. And second thing is I wanted to do everything organic, and third thing everything manually. So we even press manually. We harvest everything manually, and so I just work on 8.5 hectares and produce about 20,000 bottles per year. It's an extremely small production, but that was my plan.
Okay, and the wine then, your Minervois, could you describe it? Tell us about the wine itself.
Yeah, listen, Minervois is a huge area. It's about 6,000 hectares. So you go from basically zero altitude to 400 to 500 meters altitude. You have some schist, you have some clay stones, you have some. So you cannot describe Minervois as an even thing. You have a lot of different terroirs inside Minervois. So I bought some lands in two different spots in Ciry at 400 meters high with basically 8 years old Grenache and Carignan and 30 years old Syrah. And I bought in Loire Minervois 50 years old Cinsault, because Cinsault is for me a very cool grapes. It makes a lot of fruit. doesn't make too much potential alcohol with a good balance. So I bought last year this Cinsault, 50 years old, plus 1 hectare, plus 1 hectare of Syrah that I made in a carbonic maceration, plus a bit of 110 years old Carignan, and that's all in this in this bottle called Gargantua.
So the average age is the average age of the wines in the bottle is where are we, 75 or something like that years old. Those are
something like that.
Old vine wines. Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, but I'm rebuilding them little by little. I bought the other ones in Syrah 5 years ago, and now they're doing well. I bought those one last year, and it's going to take me 3 to 4 years to make them come back to life. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a tough job. So it's a long time process, but I've been working for some negotiants and some huge wineries in the past, and the entire plan of my my winery is to not to do the same job, just to go back to the basics. Yeah.
That sounds good. And Ray, I think you know David a little bit longer than just before the COVID fund.
Yeah.
What did you see in the winemaking and the wines and this one as well?
So we met, we were, Toby, who works at Naked Wines, works with me as well. We taste wines. We were at Millésime BO, an organic wine fair in Montpellier last week of January. And Eddie Name from Chateau Canifar, Lebanon, WhatsApped me and said, hey, I'm at Millésime BO. Are you around? I was like, yeah, I am at Millésime BO. So he told me to come and meet him at, it was David's table. So we rocked in there. We tasted some wines and they were delicious. And I'll tell you why they're delicious. But then we went out for dinner and we always merry in the days when you could do that kind of thing. But what did I like about it? I think it was the brightness of the wines and the underlying, this is where I have to not be so poncy, but the underlying, I use the word energy sometimes, but it's just like where you're drinking a wine and you get the red fruits, but underneath you have this, there's just something going on underneath, the tension, and so it's just characterful. The wines have character, let's say. And Minevo, as you said, David, you have the simples or the easygoing, soft and round, and then you have multiple layers. When we go up to, we work with, of course, Benjamin Darnaud, and he has his cruise, his individual sites, and there you see the difference between easy drinking and a bit more intense. So with your wine, David, and I'm tasting it now, I'm very lucky. I think it's just a wine slightly left to center in terms of it's a little bit, not wild, but it's a little bit, yeah, it's full of character rather than being simple, straightforward, what you would expect. It's a little bit of the unexpected, and that for me sort of piqued my interest. Yeah.
Good. Thanks, Ray.
Cool.
I appreciate.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I think what you said there, David, about kind of stripping it back to basics and real hands-on artisan winemaking, I can definitely taste that in the wine. It really just loads of character, loads of authenticity.
Yeah, that was really the plan, not to make some like commercial soup that you can get in some basic Languedoc wines, just trying to make something different. Yeah, so it's not an easy job because I mean the yields are not that high, and you know that once you work with old vineyards, you know, but yeah, I mean it's the plan for my life. It's not a 2 or 3 years idea. Will keep on, and I found some over vineyard maybe for one day. So yeah, just try to keep on moving on that, yeah, on that idea.
Very good. And Thomas, let's go to you now. And I see a few of the angels. I've just seen a couple of people drinking champagne tonight. So that's always good to see. People are enjoying themselves. And yeah, let us know if anyone's got any questions for any of the winemakers. Just use the Q&A functionality at the bottom, or ask or put in a comment on Facebook, and we'll get those questions across. So Thomas, you're down in Bordeaux. Tell us about your business and how, you know, what happened when COVID rolled in.
So hello everyone. Yeah, we are in Bordeaux. It's contrary to David, it's an old family wine business, I would say, and mostly passion that we carry out with my brother now after more than 200 years of history. And we are really in a big region, same as David. Bordeaux is huge, it's 120,000 hectares. It's big. We are part of the largest appellation, Bordeaux Supérieur, which is huge and covering all the Bordeaux region. But here we try to make different things and really going inside our terroir and dividing each single plot of vine into a new selection of wine and knowing better and better our terroir, contrary to the past where we only used to produce 1 or 2 wines. Or today we're producing more than 10 wines, and we are lucky to have 3 of them in the case today of French wines through Naked. So thank you guys for having selecting those. COVID was same as Anne described, was really a disaster. It really avoided us to sleep for many weeks in a row. The company was down because, of course, same as Anne and David, a lot of sales went down, mostly to export market. In France, it was terrible also. We sell quite a lot to restaurants, and they were all shut down until June. So for 3 months, not a single bottle was sold, and the warehouse was keeping full, and the bank account was keeping empty. So it was really a very difficult time. Our government helped us a bit, but the main help was coming from partners and friends such as Naked Wines that really changed our economical life, of course. And secondly, to have the chance to have our wines on the tables of all the angels that followed the project, thanks to this great, brilliant idea that you guys had during COVID to save us and to help us. And seriously, this is a top 1 greatest idea I've ever had to my wine life so far. It's great that you're supportive in so many ways to winemakers like us that really need to sell wine and to, at the same time, to have our wines discovered by all your followers and customers and angels. So thank you again, guys.
Well, thanks so much. We will definitely you will definitely repay our customers' faith with these wines. They're amazing. Can you talk us through the white wine first? It's a really special wine, I think.
The white wine is called Vertige. Vertige in French is vertigo. It's coming from extremely old Sémillon block of vines dating back to 70 years of age. So it's one of the oldest Sémillon grapes of the area. And Sémillon actually is not number 1 white grapes in Bordeaux. We mostly cultivate Sauvignon Blanc, as you know, and Sémillon is only, I would say, a secondary grape, coming always in blend. And it's also used a lot in sweet wines in Sauternes area, not far from us, about 30 kilometers. But here it's in a dry version, and it's combined with Sauvignon Blanc. So you have the freshness of the Sauvignon. It's 30% of the blend, and mostly you feel the Sémillon grape, which is 70% of the blend. So it has a lot of power, and still you have the crispiness and the freshness of our region coming through this blend. So it's very unusual blend. Normally you find really the opposite, like 70% Sauvignon and 30% Sémillon. So here we focus on very old vines of Sémillon. So as you can understand in this wine, Bordeaux is big, is sometimes standard. We feel that everybody makes the same thing, but the terroir, same as David said, is very different. And we can also play a lot with the grape varieties in changing the percentage, and it's giving another face of Bordeaux, completely different, unexpected. You don't have this Sauvignon Blanc in your face. You have mostly this beautiful creaminess of Sémillon. And it's a wonderful gastronomic wine. It's fantastic with food. So we are really proud of this blend because it's unusual and very surprising.
Very nice. And Ray, what would you say? If you like your white wines, what wine would you maybe? Is it comparable to something? If you liked one wine, would you like this?
Yeah, I know what you mean. first of all, I would say that we have been looking for good quality white Bordeaux for a very long time. Eamon, when I first joined, we got the train up to Champagne to meet people. We stopped, we ate in Gare du Nord, and I brought a bottle of Chateau Pape Clément Blanc, which is a very, very good white Bordeaux. And you were disgusted that I was taking something out of my bag and sneaking in my glass. But I love white Bordeaux, and I honestly think that this is what you would call nailing white Bordeaux, and in this case, it will be affordable luxury. In terms of comparison, yeah, I think the Semillon, as you say, it dominates, so it gives this creaminess. You might say, I hope you don't mind, Thomas, I'm just trying to take a bridge to another region where people will be familiar. Well, if you know Mike Patterson in New Zealand, he does his barrel ferment Sauvignon. This is mostly Semillon, but in that creaminess and roundness. Or staying in France, you might be at Chablis Grand Cru, where it is, you get this extra texture and layer and complexity, and that's probably, it's more about mouthfeel and roundness than fruit zippy, you know.
Exactly. It's a wine of texture, lots of texture and lots of freshness.
Yeah.
Getting dark in the UK.
Exactly. Sun's going down. Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Ray. And a few people are asking about the rosé. And yeah, like what does it taste like? What how you drink it? You know, occasions, or you know, what would you compare it to? It's obviously a deeper color, maybe than usual, but
in Southwest, all the rosé wines are deep color. Very different from Provence or Corsican rosé wine, which is very, very pale. Because most of the time the rosé we drink here is a gastronomic rosé. I mean, it's not a luxurious rosé, but I mean, it's better to drink it during the meal, because there is a lot of fruitness, but a little bit of tannins. So you can drink, of course, in aperitif, as I do now, but it's it match very well with barbecue, or with a little bit exotic dishes. You can match with different style of food.
I would just add to that, Eamon. I understand what you mean, Anne, where you say a bit of tannins. I think I would translate that also to say as it is a bit more structure and a bit more character.
That's right.
So there's a bit more going on. So instead of a pale Provence rosé, which are of course delicious, but your
different style.
Different style. They're not.
It's a really different style. It's a different way of vinification also. It's most of the time it's rosé de saignée, or half rosé de saignée and the pressure. We can mix the two method, and but this is our style, and we want to focus on our originality, but of our origin also. And from a very long time, rosé from Southwest, from Fronton, Gaillac, or Gascony, or are dark enough. But I know now it's more fashion to have a pale rosé, and we try to have rosé more clear than we used to do before, but we try to respect also our origin.
Yeah, it has a bit of body, a bit of character. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think with this case, there's lots of wines and producers in there that are very, very true to the origin, and it might be slightly different to what you've tried before, but it's just a great chance to learn from people like Anne, and try wines in a new way that you mightn't have done before. And the wine's delicious. It will definitely reward you for doing that. And then and Anne, you mentioned you'd love more people to know about Fronton and Negrette in the UK. Why do you think it hasn't been very popular? Or, this is my first time drinking Fronton wines. So I'm wondering, why they've been hidden for so long. Why is that, do you think?
I see it's very little area, and with no, it's not really famous, and with no notoriety. We hope to have more communication of fronton area. It's difficult because it's a little area, but we hope. To have more identity, and people taste maybe wine time just to know, to discover, and after try to remember the tasting and the flavors and the name. Just remember the name is a good things, and we hope in the future it will be an area. Sorry. No.
Le doudou, quoi.
We have a Zoom bomber. Yeah.
Just to say, I hope Fronton will be appreciated by your customer, and maybe give them the tasting to remember what is a Negrette, what is a Fronton, and ask it in the future.
Very cool. Guys, I'm very excited to announce the deal has just gone live on the site on Marketplace. So if you go to nakedwines.com/marketplace, there are 3,000 cases max available. You get a case of cracking French wines arriving at the end of October, just 6 weeks away, for around 100 quid a case, including delivery. So if you're liking what you're hearing, these 3 great producers plus a few more, head over to Marketplace. It's live now. Okay, and back to you, maybe David.
Eamon, am I right in thinking Anne has to leave us at some point, or are you okay for another while? Anne? No,
Right.
okay. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry, I misunderstood earlier. I thought you had to leave the call. Excuse me.
Okay, I can.
Yeah, and if you do need to hop away, yeah, please feel free. We it looks like you've got company there. And yeah, David, what does this Naked Wines customers angel support mean to your business during this time?
Listen, Eamon, I started my business 5 years ago, so that means basically if you want to age some wines for a while, you have no cash flow. I don't have like 200 years old of winemaking in my family.
You don't have good broadband either.
Because I wanted, and at some point when your company is that young, and when you focus on a single market like the touristic market, like I did, that was probably a mistake. I mean, but no, basically you guys saved my life. Saved the company and the entire project of taking those old vines on the great terroirs and trying to rebuild them again. So no, what else? No, you guys rock. You're cool. I do my best at the winery. It helped me a lot mentally, because that COVID period really sucked. Huh? It was complicated even for you guys. I think it was not that easy. We get stuck home with no idea of what was going to happen later on, and no, that was great news, and gave me a real boost to keep on like doing my best on my project.
Yeah, I remember one of my first trips to the Languedoc, maybe to see Ben Darnaud many years ago, driving past all these old vineyards that were clearly abandoned or in kind of a state of disrepair. And, you know, Ben explaining to me 70, 80, 100 years of old vines that are, you know, owned by old people who just died or just couldn't afford to farm them anymore. Why did you, you know, what's in it for you to, like, you know, work with these vineyards? Why is it worth all that extra work to do that?
Oh, it's a lot of extra work, but I mean, there's basically two options. Or you let the big companies to buy those land and they get rid of the vineyard and they plant some bloody Chardonnay in Languedoc, you know, and they make some basic stuff. Or you try to get your job done and you buy those old vines and try to rebuild them. What's the plan? I mean, it's just to I think that's a potential, and that's an identity, and that's some kind of cultural thing we need to keep going on. You know what I mean? We cannot lose that all because we've lost a lot in the last 20 years. Most of the old vineyards have been destroyed, and so I think now it's time to change and try to keep this alive for a bit. I mean, they still produce, and they produce some very good quality grapes. And well, I told you with little yield, but you cannot have everything at the same time. So yeah, I mean, that's my plan. Yeah.
Yeah, we're with you on that. And why is the fruit so much? Why is it better? Why is it worth all that hard work and perseverance?
Why is it better?
Yeah, why is the fruit better from these vines?
It's not always better. I mean, you've got two things. You've got the work you do at the vineyard, and you've got the what has been planted in the past. Sometimes you've got some old vines, they have no potential because the portographe is not correct, the terroir is not correct, and clone is not correct. But you have to check that little by little. I don't buy a block of old vine in a flash like that. I check it for several years, and then I know that there is potential or not. Some old vines are doomed; they're not good, and some have a real potential. But I mean, it's part of your job to check if it's all right or not, and that's what I do basically.
Okay.
Eamon, can I just add something from the chat room on the side there? There's a number of people asking why don't we see Anne's Rosé in the case, and that's correct. Anne's Rosé is not in the case. The Fronton, the Negrette red, is in the marketplace case, but we are very lucky that we are able to sell the Rosé. We're taking the Rosé as well, so we're sort of double, we're bumping up the what we're taking from Anne. So that Rosé should be online individually to buy, I guess shortly, or let's say in a couple of weeks, let's say when it's here. So that's it. The Rosé is not in the case. The red is in the case, but the Rosé is in the UK, and you've all heard about it, and so you'll be able to buy it individually once it goes live on the site, just for clarity. There is another Rosé. Well, we're talking Rosé. Eamon, I know we're just talking about with the winemakers wines, but this is Casavial from Saint-Chinian, très pale, is I guess in the contrast. So that is in the case. There was just to point that out. A couple of questions in the chat room on the side there.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, Ray. Appreciate it. All right, Thomas, tell us about your reds then. So we've got the Petit Merlot here.
Yeah, Petit Merlot. Again, I'm in a very, very, very traditional region of France. And the idea is not, of course, to get rid of the past, but is also to be able to suggest new things and go a little bit beyond the classics and try to do something new. First of all, you can see the bottle shape, which is very unusual for Bordeaux. I mean, nearly nobody's putting Bordeaux wine into a Burgundy-shaped bottle. So that's the first big step for my. If my grandfather was still there, I can tell you he would be quite nervous about it. But you know, I'm happy to change. With my brother, we do new things. And this Petite Merlot is a long story with my friend Olivier Cazenave that we are big friends, and we also make wine together. And we decided to make this blend especially for Naked Wines, for you, Eamon, as you remember the story. And actually, this is Petite Merlot. This is the name of the cuvée because it's only composed of Merlot, which is quite unusual as well, because Bordeaux is normally a place of blends. It's probably one of the oldest region in France where we used to always put Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc together. But to have a pure grape variety in a bottle, it's something very rare. It was banned for a long time. We were not, by law, able to put a single varietal in bottle. You have to know that. It's crazy, but it's the past. It's the weight of the history. Now we are more free, and we can do 100% whatever we want. And this is 100% Merlot. So I'm happy to show the Merlot real aspect in this bottle, because normally it's always blend again. And this one is very juicy. It's a new vintage. It's 2019, so it's very, very young. Again, all the traditional Bordeaux, you normally drink them after 2 or 3 years. This is only 1 year old. So really we take it on the freshness, on the juiciness of the grapes. It really has nothing else but grapes, no oak, nothing. It's just kept in stainless steel and concrete vats and bottled after less than 1 year. So very dark color, very violet. You keep this freshness from the vines, and it's easy-going wine. It has still a nice density, nice power, but you really pick the fruit, which is a number one aspect, and an unusual spicy character to the Merlot.
Okay, it's lovely. Ray, what do you think of this wine?
Yeah, Thomas said everything. I would agree. It is, you know, we often, Joe, is it Warehouse Joe, one of the founders of Naked Wines, he is always crying out for more Merlot because of the demand from customers who want that sort of deep, darker style of Merlot. And like you say, no oak, just purity, bit of blackberry, black cherry, and this is, we have it here. And then what you sometimes see with wines from Bordeaux is there can be some extra bit of leafiness. Herbaceousness is another word. It's a little bit green would be offensive, you know. But and here it's pretty much not there, and so you're just getting this generosity. It's very generous, I would say. It's a rich wine. It sort of coats them out. It can be drunk Tuesday night or Saturday night with a decent meal. It's very, very impressive. For the quality value is really impressive. And I'll just finish by saying it's Olivier Cazenave, who Eamon, you and I were hanging out with in Bordeaux December 18th, 19th, and a total dude, and whose wines are coming down the line. And Thomas, it's great. We're lucky. It's a great synergy that we're all coming together, because you're top quality winemakers. And I would just say to angels who are watching, we meet a lot of very cool people in very cool places. And in the end, we don't always go with the wines, because we just go, yeah, you're cool, and you know, tonight's been cool, but the wines won't work. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we're just bringing through good stuff. But here, the quality is good, you're cool, and the price for the angels is cool. So it has worked. Yeah.
Just a conclusion on this wine, if I can say, it's really the type of Bordeaux that is not your grandfather's Bordeaux. Right. You know, it's something very, very different. Very juicy, very easygoing. You don't have to wait, and it's not something tannic, not something too harsh. You know,
it's primary generous black fruit, not dry sort of structure tannic. Yeah, it's exactly. It's not classic Bordeaux. You might call it modern Bordeaux. It is almost a nod to, dare I say, Languedoc, but in terms of like its ripeness, it's sunshine. It's more sunshine than tight. Yeah. Eamon.
Very good. And just a quick update, guys. There's already 280 people have bought your cases on Marketplace in about 20 minutes, which is pretty cool.
Thanks.
And Thomas, then tell us about your Grand Voodoo, the premium red. Then you got, which is my glass is really, really nice.
This wine is Actually, I have only 10% battery. I hope it's enough. I'll try to be short. This wine is called Generation. First of all, it's a tribute to our family story of winemakers, where I'm the number 8 with my brother, 8th generation. And we wanted to name at a certain stage a wine called Generation because it's really a symbol of our family. It's generation one after the other. And it's great to be part of this amazing family, and yeah, proud to have a wine named under Generation, which is a lot of meaning for our family. Secondly, it's again very unusual. So it's a blend. So we have 2 grape varieties here, but the unique stuff here, it's the proportion of Cabernet Franc, which is for me probably the best potential in the future for our land here. Merlot is going to be at certain stage, maybe 20, 30, 40 years, a bit too ripe. So we are very happy to have the Cabernet Franc, which gives a lot of zippiness, a lot of freshness, minerality to the blend. And it's up to 45% in the blend. So it's huge for the region. Only a few chateaux in Bordeaux have a high proportion of Cabernet Franc. 2 or 3 very famous, Cheval Blanc and Ozone, are very high proportion. They're on limestone in Saint-Emilion, 20 kilometers from here. And we do have here great limestone soils as well that are fantastic for Cabernet Franc. Same as in the Loire Valley, you can have this limestone, this tuffeau, and here we have the same. So it's wonderful for Cab Franc, and the rest is Merlot. And it's really the best plots of the farm. And it's completely aged in French oak barrels, but none are new because we want to keep the purity, the extremely precise fruit of Cabernet Franc, and nothing oaky or toasty or nutty, vanilla, whatever, which I hate actually. I prefer something cleaner, very, very fresh and balanced. So that's definitely a food wine with more power, more grip, but very charming by this floral character of Cabernet Franc, which is again very unusual.
Lovely. It's I mean, showing beautifully now for such a young Bordeaux, but got lots of years of age in it as well.
Yeah, I agree with everything Thomas said and how he described it. And yeah, it is more towards the classic Bordeaux, but actually, I think the spice that comes through, and it's good that you explained that, Thomas, that it's not so much the oak spice, it's actually that Cab Franc spice, yes, which is often used as a blending component, 5%, 7%, just to give a bit of sort of flavor profile. And here you've pushed it up, but it hasn't gone to a point of, it hasn't gone over the top. I would, that is, again, it's sort of a term, affordable luxury, or, you taste this and you're actually drinking some pretty posh kit and we actually, Eamon, as you know, we have a history of struggling around, well, let's say Bordeaux wines haven't always succeeded at naked wines, and sometimes it's the dryness and the tannin and the sort of they're a little bit hard from what we've experienced. And so we've seen other areas of France or around the world succeed. So we went, okay, look, let's just give what works. And we tasted through these wines, and we were on Zoom, and it was April, I guess. And we were going, this bloody works. This is it. So let's do it. So, and genuinely, we wouldn't be on a call. They wouldn't be in the case if we didn't think that this will satisfy, or this will appease angels and make them happy.
It was terrible climatic condition in 2017 with a huge frost. I don't know if you remember that. We lost 65% of our quantity. So we say those blocks are higher in altitude, so we couldn't get any frost from the lower hills. So by chance, Generation could be still produced that year, 3 years ago. Yeah.
And David, tell us, we're about to wrap up. You look like you're settling in for the evening there. Looks good wherever you are.
Yeah. I mean, I got no more battery on my cell phone, so I had to move and plug it somewhere in the garden.
He's lit a fire. He's around the campfire.
Weird light.
And have you started harvest, David?
Yeah, definitely yes. We kind of 3 weeks earlier than usually. I will potentially, we'll get 3 days of rain in September already, which is extremely unusual. Usually it doesn't rain here in September, absolutely not. And I will check on that on Saturday, but I think my Syrah up on the hills at 400 meters are pretty much ready for this weekend. And I may finish next weekend within 10 days. That would be like a record, yeah. I crushed already 60% of the grapes, and the Gargantua you have in the box is in the tanks already, yeah.
Great.
And it's it really rocks. It's really good.
Well, guys, we all look forward to the sequel. We have to wrap up now. We could easily talk for 3 hours to all three of you, but we got to wrap up there. But thank you very much for coming on tonight. Really great to meet you guys, taste the wines, and thanks to all the angels who've tuned in, and to the 326 angels so far who've bidded on the French case in about half an hour. So thanks everyone, and hopefully we'll see a few of you for the next session. But it's been great to see you all, and best of luck for the rest of the harvest, and we'll see you all soon.
See you guys.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
It was a lovely
You guys rock.
Cheers,
Love
too.
you.
Bye-bye.